housing vacancies. So let's go to this first chart and take a look at what all this means, because I have about 3 charts here, and I think it's going to mean a lot whether you are in the market for housing or maybe you're in a company that is servicing renters or homeowners. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. The first thing is gross vacancy rates. They take total households. That could be a 1-bedroom apartment, that could be a 10,000 square foot house. It's anything that is called a dwelling or a home. And the vacancy rates, as you can see, 2008, they were way up. 15% of homes in America were vacant. Now, why was that in 2008? Because if you saw the movie The Big Short, they overbuilt the houses. They gave them to people that couldn't afford mortgages, and then entire villages sat completely empty. You saw what happened outside of Las Vegas. And what was it again? What was it? I think it was Salt Lake City, right outside Salt Lake City, lots of vacancy rate. Nonetheless, when you watch The Big Short, you can also see him coming to South Florida where that alligator was in the pool, and you can see the vacancy rate. But that's 2008. That's the housing crisis of '08. Coming back over here, you can see where we are today, 10.5%. So the fact that people can't find housing, affordable houses, thanks to interest rates and the price of houses, and then finding affordable apartments or townhouses or typical rental housing, also very tough to find. So now let's go from the general to the specific. Let's go to the next chart and let's look at the difference between homes and rentals. So that was the main chart that showed you we're down to 10.5% vacancy here in the United States. This chart shows you, again, you can go all the way to 2008 where everything peaks up. Now you see where it comes down. Rental vacancies and homeowner vacancies going lower and lower and lower, meaning it's tough to find housing in America, specifically housing you can afford. Now, this is a fun thing that I like to call lies, damn lies, and statistics. Let's pop up to the next chart. This shows, the top 5 states by vacancy rates. So you see Maine, Vermont, Alaska, Florida, Hawaii. Wait, Florida that vacant? How could Florida be that vacant? All these people are moving down here. Well, let's go down and look a little deeper. Let's go to the next chart. Next chart you have, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, 38.2% vacant. Folks, again, lies, damn lies, and statistics. Cape Coral, Florida had a hurricane that struck less than a year ago, and it destroyed 4,000 homes from Cape Coral, Fort Myers to Sarasota, Bradenton, and damaged 40,000 others. So this is really kind of ridiculous. They should have adjusted for this. You do have a lot of vacancy there. It's homes that are being rebuilt following the hurricane, but technically you're logged in right now as vacant. So you basically, those first 2 is a joke. Forget that they exist. So this is where I think sometimes, and by the way, this all comes from the Census Bureau. So you would think that there'd be some sort of an asterisk that says, oh, and by the way, these markets are highly impacted by hurricane, FEMA dollars, and all these things. That's where all the vacant homes. And you can see the rest of those markets, Dayton, Ohio, Tucson, Arizona, New Orleans, we're sitting around 14, 13% vacancy rate. And so there you have it. So what does that mean for you? That means if you're in home building and you could build, rental properties, you could build townhouses, small groups of apartments, 8-unit apartment building, 4 on the bottom, 4 on top. You've seen those 4 and 4s. If you have the ability to do that, there is such opportunity right now in the United States. And the other thing is, I had a couple comments that came in over the weekend that we were looking here that says, hey, Biz Doc, I'm in services, I'm in household services. And I looked at that and I'm like, wait a minute. If it's from maids to exterminator, they come once a day, they come once a month and they spray around your house and everything. All those things that are household services, boy, I think there's opportunity in that. And that's what I'd be looking at. So I think what this shows is it is a tough time to rent or buy in America. And it's not just what you're hearing on housing prices and interest rates. There's also not enough rental units or rental units in the right places so that the price could come down. Kellyanne, what do you and your friends in your generation, while you're saving to buy a house, I know that's what you're doing.
Yep.
What is your generation experiencing down here? And we're basically in South Palm Beach County, which is Deerfield Beach, South Palm Beach County stops at Boca. Then you have Broward County, where you have Deerfield and Pompano and North Fort Lauderdale, Lauderdale by the Sea, and you have that all area going all the way out to Coral Springs, Parkland, areas like this where there has been a lot of building. But what do you see happening in terms of rental housing here in South Florida?
We're kind of seeing the same thing. My brother and I'm looking, a lot of my friends are looking. There are a lot of new buildings going up, but they're expensive. And if you're a single person, it's very difficult for you to be able to afford an apartment by yourself. If you have a significant other, like my brother and his girlfriend are able to afford an apartment in one of these new buildings. The other problem is that if you're looking to buy, it's still a little iffy right now with the market and inflation. So it's kind of just a waiting game right now. You're like, okay, this is the best option right now. I've got like 2 roommates and we're doing fine, but we all want to have our own place. And so it's just hoping that magic wand is gonna appear and like the perfect storm will come together for the right location.
Well, it's about pricing is often about supply and demand. If you have a new apartment place and they charge the best dollar for it, there still has to be enough demand to pay that.